The twin moons of Avari rose over the crystalline towers of the royal citadel as Princess Leora stood on her balcony, watching the horizon shimmer with pale blue light. For as long as she could remember, she had been told that the universe beyond her world was unpredictable, filled with species whose motives could not be trusted. Among those rumors stood the rarest of all references, tales of a distant species called humans. Her scholars spoke of them with an odd mixture of fascination and caution. No one on Avari had ever met one. They were subjects of myth more than fact, referenced in scattered archives from lost expeditions. Leora had grown up wondering if they were real at all. That changed on the day the sky cracked open. A tremor rippled across the citadel as a streak of light tore through the upper atmosphere. The palace guards rushed across the marble walkways, their armor gleaming under the moons. Leora followed behind, curiosity rising with every step. She had no fear. Her upbringing had shaped her into someone who did not retreat from mystery. When she reached the edge of the landing valley, she saw the object come down in a burst of displaced air. It carved a shallow arc into the soft metallic soil before coming to rest near the crystalline ridge. The guards formed a perimeter as steam hissed from the vessel's seams. A hatch groaned open. A figure stepped out. He was tall and broad-shouldered. His outfit was torn from the rough descent, and scorch marks traced the edges of the fabric. He looked around with the alertness of someone who expected danger, yet refused to show fear. For a moment, no one spoke. Leora felt something inside her shift. She had studied countless species in the royal archives, but his form was unlike anything she had seen in person. His posture held a type of resolve that could not be taught. When his eyes landed on her, something like recognition sparked between them, as if two beings from distant corners of existence could understand one another without words. The guards motioned for him to halt. He raised his hands calmly. His voice carried across the valley. He introduced himself with a simple name. His name was Aaron. The sound of it was unfamiliar, yet easy on the ear. Leora stepped forward. The guards tried to block her, but she waved them aside. Whatever danger he represented, she wanted to understand it on her own terms. When she stood before him, she saw exhaustion lining his face, but also determination. He had survived something brutal to reach her world. She asked him how he came to fall from the sky. He answered that he had been on a mission of exploration when his vessel encountered a spatial anomaly. His navigation controls failed, and he was dragged through a corridor of distorted gravity until his ship tore free into her system. The palace engineers confirmed his account within hours. His vessel bore the markings of severe dimensional stress. It was a miracle he was alive. Leora felt that miracle settle into her thoughts. This human had come from the other side of legend, yet stood before her grounded and real. She made the decision that he would stay in the citadel as an honored guest until his vessel could be repaired. Aaron accepted her offer with gratitude. She could see in his posture that he was still alert, still cautious, but he trusted her enough to follow. During the following days, Leora guided Aaron through the halls of the citadel. She watched with growing fascination as he interacted with her people. His reactions were genuine. His questions were thoughtful. His ability to adapt to new environments astonished the scholars. He learned faster than expected. Even more striking was the quiet respect he showed every worker, engineer, guard, and attendant he met. She had met countless envoys from neighboring worlds, yet none carried themselves with his blend of humility and strength. One afternoon, while leading him through the gardens of luminescent flora, she asked what humans valued most. His answer was not wealth or conquest. It was connection. Humanity thrived by forming bonds, by building trust, by pushing themselves to grow even in the harshest environments. Leora felt a warmth rise in her chest. His words carried a sincerity untainted by political motive. As they walked, she found herself studying the way he examined the world around him, not as a conqueror or a tourist, but as someone trying to understand its essence. The engineers estimated that repairs would take at least a cycle. That meant Aaron would remain close to her for far longer than protocol normally allowed. Leora did not mind. She found herself thinking about him even when they were apart. In council meetings, her thoughts drifted back to the sound of his voice or the way he studied each new discovery. She realized she was learning more about herself from watching him than she had learned in years of structured education. News of the human visitor spread across Avari. Curiosity blossomed among the population. Many wanted to see him. Some feared him. Others admired him. Through it all, Leora remained at his side. She understood he needed an ally. Their worlds were too different. Without guidance, he would be overwhelmed by politics and ceremony. She took it upon herself to ensure he was never alone. One evening, the two stood on the upper terrace as a violet aurora unfolded across the sky. Aaron admitted he had never seen anything like it. Leora felt a flutter of pride. She explained how the auroras formed from the interplay between the moons and the planet's magnetosphere. He listened intently. Then he shared stories of his own world. Oceans that stretched beyond the horizon. Mountains capped with frozen peaks. Storms that could shake entire regions. His descriptions painted vivid imagery across her imagination. For a moment, she felt as if she were standing on his world, seeing it through his eyes. Their connection deepened. The Citadel guards noticed the princess, growing increasingly attached to the human visitor. Whispered conversations circulated behind her back. Some believed she was compromising her neutrality. Others believed she was following her instincts as a leader who recognized potential alliances. Leora ignored all of them. She was not acting as a princess. She was acting as someone who wanted to understand another being fully. Every moment with Aaron strengthened her sense that his arrival was not an accident. It felt like a turning point for both their species. When the cycle passed and Aaron's vessel neared completion, an unexpected crisis erupted. A rogue faction of raiders, known for targeting vulnerable worlds, slipped through the outer defenses and launched an attack on a nearby settlement. The Citadel prepared its defense forces, but the raiders had a new technology that destabilized energy shields. Leora ordered the evacuation of civilians. Aaron stepped forward and insisted on joining the defense effort. She refused at first. He was a guest. He should not risk his life. Yet he insisted that standing aside while others fought violated everything humanity valued. His determination cut through her resistance. She agreed on the condition that he remained under her direct command. The battle unfolded across the shimmering plains north of the Citadel. The raiders advanced with heavy disruptor cannons. The shield walls flickered. Avari soldiers fought with discipline, but the attackers pressed relentlessly. Aaron moved with a speed and precision that shocked the soldiers around him. Human combat training, she realized, was far fiercer than their archives had suggested. He coordinated with her troops, adapted to their tactics, and filled the gap wherever defense lines faltered. Leora fought beside him, her staff weapon tracing arcs of shimmering energy. Together, they became the center of the field, rallying the defenders. The turning point came when Aaron identified the structural weakness in the Raider disruptor cannon. He formulated a plan. If they could disable the central capacitor, the entire weapon system would collapse. Leora trusted him without hesitation. They advanced through the crossfire, each protecting the other. Aaron reached the device and tore out the stabilizer module. The disruptor cannon overloaded and shut down. The raiders, suddenly deprived of their advantage, retreated. Cheers erupted across the plain. When they returned to the Citadel, the council commended Aaron for his bravery. Yet it was Leora's expression that mattered most to him. She looked at him with a mixture of gratitude and something deeper, something unspoken yet undeniable. That night, she walked with him through the quiet corridors of the citadel. There were no guards, no attendants, only the soft glow of crystalline lanterns. She admitted she had feared for his safety. He told her he fought because he could not bear to see her world harmed not from that moment on. She refused to leave his side. The bond between them grew stronger each day. They trained together. They explored the city together. They spent long hours discussing their worlds and imagining a future where their species met not with suspicion, but with trust. Leora found herself drawn to the grounded resilience he carried. Eren found himself captivated by her depth, intelligence, and unwavering spirit. When his ship was fully repaired, the time came for him to decide whether to return home or remain. The council expected him to leave. Leora expected him to choose what felt right to him, regardless of politics. Eren chose to stay. He explained that his return would only serve as a report, but his presence on Avari could become something greater. A bridge between civilizations. A chance to reshape the future. Leora felt her pulse quicken with relief and quiet joy. The announcement spread across Avari. Some were surprised. Others welcomed the new era. Many wondered why a human would leave his home behind for a world he barely knew. But Leora knew the reason. She saw it in the way he looked at her. She felt it in every quiet moment they shared. Their lives had become intertwined. Their futures were now linked in time. Eren became not just a guest, but a partner in forging new diplomatic paths. Avari scientists studied human resilience. Human explorers learned from Avari technology. The two worlds evolved together. Every advancement, every shared discovery, traced back to the day a lone vessel fell from the sky and brought a human into the life of a princess who had never imagined such a connection. Leora often returned to the same balcony where she had first watched him arrive. Eren frequently joined her. They would stand together under the twin moons, speaking softly about everything they hoped to achieve. They had become symbols of unity, but more than that, they had become the closest of companions. Two beings from distant stars, whose bond had changed the fate of an entire world. And on every quiet night, as she stood beside him, Leora remembered the moment she first looked into his eyes and understood that her life would never be the same. She had never seen a human before that day. Now she could not imagine a single moment without him.